Sounds good. Hey, everyone, it's Thursday, March 9th. We are talking about lesson 6, Seed for Achievement, and sharing some wins. I just want to dovetail, it's interesting in my last call, Laura, your win about reconnecting with an old friend. I had a client in my TIR group who hasn't really been in a lot of communication with her mother over the past 2 to 3 years. And she was sitting in an airport and had an intuition to reach out to her mother. And she did. And it was really healing for both her and her mother. But I want to point out that what we're dealing with here is the power of thought energy. It is the most powerful thing in the entire world. And that's why it's so important to Kathy's win that she just shared about not being influenced. Well, let's think about it. All roads lead back to this, right? We can see, hear, smell, taste, and touch. Are we going to be whipped around by the outside circumstances? Are we going to let those things, including our current results, which were created by us, by our paradigm, right? You see the loop here. What you think and how you feel sets up your vibration, attracts to you what you want or don't want. It also moves your body out into action, and all of that produces your results. And then we've been trained to live from the outside, from the senses in. So we look at those results and we say, that's the best I can do. Or the economy's going in the tank, that, it's a bad time to do X, Y, Z. Or. And we let the outside control this loop. When the truth is, like Dorothy, we always have the power, right? And the Wizard of Oz. We have the power to originate thought. We have the ability to use our will, our 6 higher faculties, to hold that image on the subconscious mind until it becomes the new reality. Against all odds, the Wright brothers didn't have a lot of people cheering them on. But Laura's going to have the benefit of getting on a plane that has heat and Wi-Fi and safety features and all manner of things, because the Wright brothers had this beautiful thought in their imagination that they got emotionally involved in, and they would not be shaken loose. We all have, the Wright brothers are us. They were this. Their programming was different. Elon Musk, Oprah, Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, all of these, Bob Proctor, each of us has the same machinery, if you will. What are you doing with it? And I love what you said, Kathy. Do not be whipped around. I know Jerome Powell is going to raise interest rates.
I know.
Let me tell you a little story. You and I have no control over who and how the interest rates get raised. The Federal Reserve is on its own.
Right.
Period. End of story. So here's the thing. Excuse me. When I was 20 years old, I had a job at a health food store. The year was 1980. Yes, you can calculate my age from that. I was in college. I had a job at a health food store, because eating well and becoming healthy had transformed my life. I was anorexic prior to that, had all these health problems, wasn't menstruating, wasn't, whatever, more than you probably want to know. But I got turned on to eating healthfully. I became a vegetarian. I got a job at a health food store. I was going to college, and my mother was paying for my college because my father, with inheritance that she got from my grandfather, from her father. And she was just hell-bent on me being college educated, because she had to drop out of college because she was pregnant with me. So I have this job at this health food store. I absolutely love it. I am not digging college. I'm in this good private college in Holland, Michigan called Hope College. It's an amazing college, but I was like, my heart wasn't in it. And here's my mom spending, back in the day, $8,000 a year to put me through college. And I thought, you know what? I love this job at this health food store. I believe in this, but these people are doing a lousy job. So my friend and I got her a job there. She just came out here to visit me at the beginning of February with her husband. That's how long we've been friends. I said, Barb, you need to get a job here. It's really amazing. So I got her a job. And then the people didn't want to help people. And I was like, people have to know about this. It smells weird in here. It's weird in here. Nobody knows about health food. It's 1980, right? In Holland, Michigan. Dutch people are notoriously frugal. So I'm trying to sell them like $2 a loaf of bread when they can buy Wonder Bread for $1. I digress, but I'm just trying to paint the picture here. And I go to the new owners, they had 3 stores, and I said, look, we have to educate people about what's going on here, like how to use this. It smells weird in here. It's weird. Like, we have to educate people. And they're like, no, we don't want to do that. Just sell more stuff. I'm like, there's a limit to what I could just keep selling to people. So Barb and I got this idea to start our own health food store. We are 20 friggin' years old. We have a thimbleful of business experience. And interest rates, does anybody remember what interest rates were in 1980?
No.
18%.
Oh, wow.
I marched into First Michigan Bank and I got a bank loan at 2 above prime. 20%. And I skipped out of there thinking I was like, whatever. And people thought I was insane. But here's the thing. Our store went on to become so successful. The other stores went out of business. That was never my goal. But Barbie and I put together this really cool little funky store, and we did everything that we told them to do. We did cooking classes. We started a lending library. We sent out newsletters. That was back in the day, 1980. We did in-store demos. We did samples. We did, what's my point here? Back to your point, Kathy. I was naive enough, right? Who in their right minds borrows money from a bank at 20% interest to start a business that they have no idea how to run, except they have a dream in their heart?
And that did it.
And that did it. I just wanted to serve people. I just wanted to help people. I had people coming in saying, I need this whole list of supplements. And I'd say, well, wait a minute, let's see what's going on. And the next thing I know, they're crying, telling me their father died. And now they're having stomach problems. And then their doctor gave them a medication for that that's causing joint problems, et cetera, et cetera. And I was like, I'm just here to help serve people. I was honest. I was ethical. I did the best I could. I worked really hard, and my business grew and grew and grew. And at the end, I had moved locations twice. I was in a really beautiful storefront downtown Holland, Michigan. What's the point of all of this? I was too stupid to let the economy drive my worry, fear, and doubt. But now I'm a grown-up. And don't we all just get built up with risk intolerance and failure worry and all of this other stuff? So I love that win, Kathy, that you have to use your will to make a committed decision that the only thing that's going to drive your thoughts, your feelings, and your behavior is what you want.
Mm-hmm.
What did Bob always say? What did he say at the beginning of everything? What do you want? I have to turn my heater off. Sorry, it'll be too hot. What do you want? He said that to Sandy back in 2007, I believe, at that first conference she went to when she saw him. Somebody invited her to a conference. And here she was, this Kappa Beta, all the accolades, running a multi-million dollar practice, partner, big deals, billions of dollars of M&A business and bank mergers and acquisitions that she would engineer. Billions. Her life on paper was chef's kiss. And yet, when he sat there over and over and over again and said, what do you really want? she like broke down and was like, this looks so good on paper. This is not what I want. That takes courage. You all have that kind of courage to say, if I'm in a deal that I don't want, or if I'm in a deal that's meh, okay, good enough, stop it. Stop accepting mediocrity. Stop accepting what's safe. Stop accepting what isn't the dream in your heart. Because you can have absolutely the dream in your heart. You can have everything you want. You're built. Remember that video that Bob did on the creative process? That's the way we're built. We have free will. We have these higher faculties. We now have something Bob took a decade to figure out. We have the ability to build new images, to use our higher faculties, our will, to get emotionally involved in it, to use your imagination, to see yourself, to feel it. Like Neville says, but we have to start to bury it in the treasury of our subconscious mind, because this is where everything is connected. At the end, Bob was removing, you probably remember this, Kathy, he was removing the bottom half of the subconscious mind because it is connected to the source of everything. All the answers are here. Everything you need is here. All the resources you need are here. But we have to get this into alignment. We have to start with what we want. So why am I harping on this? Because if you're not doing that, you're rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic. I mean, your life can be good. Excuse me. But it can really be everything that you want. And that's what I want to inspire all of us to know. And to start with, no dream is too big. You may feel beat up by this process. You may feel like you haven't done it well, you have failed. But know that we have to, where this lesson talks about praxis, the integration of belief with behavior. And that's what's up next with us. We have to do the work of reprogramming ourselves. Studying this on one level is really, really powerful. But to your point, Kathy, you've been studying this enough that you saw the economy,
I did.
worries about the economy. You have to disconnect from that.
I did. It was such an aha moment because I know so much, and then to go. And then so I thought, all right, get into, I re-listened to Seed for Achievement, and I listened to Bob, Change Your Paradigm for about 45 minutes. And I saw, oh my God, I'm letting the outside world control me again. And I can do that so quickly.
Well, can't we all?
Listen.
Just... Excuse me. Well, that's because that's the predominant paradigm. You know, we've all been around Bob either virtually or in person. Guy didn't let shit control him. Excuse my French. He didn't let anything control him. It wasn't a matter of if, it was just when things that he wanted were going to show up. He spent, Dan even asked him, he spent 80 to 90% of his waking hours in the fantasy he had created it and only thinking about ways that he could make it happen.
And I really,
right? Go ahead, Kathy.
I really believe if we don't study at least 15, 20 minutes a day, and you let a couple of days go by, the outside world begins to run you. It's, I don't know. It makes such a difference to keep bringing yourself back to the inside.
100%. And I want to make a distinction, and then Joni, I want to hear your wins. I think we lost Laura, and this is, you know, for Laura and Lisa. I want to make a distinction for us at this point in this program. Studying the material is vitally important because that does one major thing. It makes you aware. Kathy, I think of when Bob saw Bill Gove and he was like, I want to be a speaker. I want to do that. But then he thought, I can't, his paradigm immediately, just like yours was like, oh crap, the economy's going to hell in a handbasket. But then because you've studied with so much repetition, you're like, wait a minute, am I
Yeah.
going to let the outside control me, or am I going to create my own economy?
That's right.
You had that awareness.
And
You
I
were
did.
like, wait a minute, nope, 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 nope. That's not how this is going to go. Now, what we need to do here is to rewrite the script of what is your new economy.
Mhm.
And that's what, at this stage of the game, we need to start reprogramming ourselves with some real intensity. I don't mean hustle and grind. I don't mean struggle. I mean, just, what do I mean? I mean, if you start to, read like this book by Dr. Joseph Murphy, or The Power of Your Subconscious Mind, your subliminal, right? What is this one called? The Power of Your Subconscious Mind Subliminal Program. We now have the awareness of what's going on, but we literally have to rewrite the script of what is going on, and we have to internalize it, internalize it, internalize it. And I'm going to be doing a Power Life script day with you guys. I want to sit down with you, and I think I'm going to combine it with my TIR students, because I'm doing the same thing with them. But the concept is, and I want to plant the seed here, I want you to start writing out in each domain of your life: financial, relationships, spiritual, career, health and well-being, your environment, where you live, how you live, legacy, right? What you want your legacy to be, sort of what your life is, how your life is contributing to society. I want you to start thinking about that over the weekend and writing it out. Get in a really relaxed state. Where do you see it? You don't need to force this image. It's already inside of you. You've already created it.
Mhm.
It's about really bringing it into your conscious awareness and writing it out. Bob used to say, get really relaxed and just write out, when anything's possible, what would I love? When anything's possible, what would I love? When anything is possible, what would I love? Right? So we want to get into that imaginative state, and then we're going to sit down and write a Power Life script, and we're going to start to listen to it at least 2 times a day. In the evening before you go to sleep, right? Because that's, Joseph Murphy says, that's one of the main time sensitive times of day, when your conscious mind is handing off to your subconscious mind, and your subconscious mind is at it all night. So if you go to bed after having watched the news, what's going to be kicking around your subconscious mind?
You're going to be worrying about what they said.
Whatever the hell the news, whatever KSL in my neighborhood, decided to put up that day. We are constantly being exposed to things that are influencing our conscious mind and our subconscious mind. What we want to get good at is using our reason, which is a higher faculty, to say, like Kathy did, that was an exercise of your reason. I know what's happening, but I'm choosing not to let that be an influencer of my thoughts, feelings, and behavior.
Right.
Right? That's your reason. You shut off your outside senses and you build a new model inside of using your conscious faculties, right? Your imagination, your intuition, your reason, your will. Your imagination is what we want to fire up here. We want to really fire up your imagination, because that's the only thing that limits us. Really, our paradigms, our limiting beliefs are what limit us. But if you let your imagination run wild, there is nothing too big for you. Nothing. If it comes to you, it's for you. I've heard Bob say that. He said it to me personally, but I know that's true. The Wright brothers, when their idea to build a flying machine, that sounded pretty wacko, to the point that their father, who was a Baptist minister, so it is said, told them they were going to burn in hell for defying God's law of gravity. But they never gave up. And look at the legacy of that. I mean, most people go to the airport and bitch and complain and think it's just a show, which it is on some level. But at the same time, it's a marvel that just as easily as getting on a bus, for the most part, you can get on a plane and be around the world in 24 to 46 hours. And it wasn't that long ago. You couldn't get from Utah to California without it taking months in a wagon. 120 years ago. In the scope of mankind, that's how much our mental faculties have been able to be leveraged. You're in California, Joni's in St. Thomas. I mean, this phone, think about what the human mind, the building you're in, the clothes you have, the colors you wear, the food you eat, that's all from the human imagination. And we have one too. We just have to get really, really good at using this. I'm driving this home for a reason. This is not nice to have. This is essential. And once we get good at learning how to use it effectively, the world is your oyster. You can live in the peace of knowing it's not if, Kathy, you're going to attract your soulmate or have the money you want or have the clients you want or same thing for you, Joni, Lisa, Laura. It's not if, it's when.
Mm-hmm.
And the when we have control over to a certain extent by how much we have been, and this is what the seed for achievement is, how much are you aligned on a conscious thought level, higher faculties, on a subconscious level, praxis, and on a behavioral level, thoughts, feelings, behavior. When this is in a very tight alignment, that's when things start to pop like crazy. And then you're just like, Laura, like, hey, all of a sudden this is happening, and all of a sudden this is happening, and all of a sudden this is happening. Why does that seem unusual to us? Why do we think it's unusual when things start to easily, effortlessly, and magically pop in, show up? Why? I'm going to turn the question to you ladies. Why do we find that to not be the norm, to be so unusual?
Well, it's our thoughts, our feelings, and our behavior are all focused on the same thing.
Right.
Yes.
And that exactly. And that's as it should be. I'm going to repost that co-creation video that Bob did. I can't hammer that home enough. Okay. That is how we're meant to live. But now we have to write the new script. We have to internalize that script. We have to step out as that woman, as that behavior. We have to do that for ourselves. As Bob used to say, if I could shoot you in the ass with this, with a syringe, I would. Boy, wouldn't that be nice? But until then, we have to do the work of reprogramming ourselves. And it's very individual. But I love this because it's literally, Kathy, it's blue sky. And it's already here. Once you ask, it's given. And the reason we find it unusual, especially as high achievers who have worked hard, and that's part of the paradigm, is that we have something in that programming that it has to be a struggle, or we have to work hard to deserve it, or they don't call it work for nothing, or things can't come easily, or whatever. And so, go ahead, Joni. But let me just finish this. I want to hear if you have a win. Okay, great. Just can't talk for the next 10 minutes. Okay, no worries. But the reason we find it unusual, and I get comments like, you're never going to believe this. When things actually go the way they're supposed to work, right? When we start to get a taste of this, the reason we find that unusual, like I love how in flow Laura is, it's because we have a paradigm. Part of our paradigm is hustle and grind to deserve things. That's not the way it works. It's the way we've been told it works by well-intended people. But there's a much easier way to live. And now is the time in this program for us to start to do the do, for us to rewrite the script of who we are, to start acting in alignment with who we are, even though there's no evidence that you have X number of clients, that you're serving them this way. You just are walking in faith that it's here, it's coming, and you just need to get into alignment with it.
You know, I was
Yeah.
watching last night. There's this new Netflix on Steve Jobs,
Oh,
and
okay.
it's fun to watch.
Yeah.
And it just clicked on me that when you watch it early on, he didn't let the outside world bother him. They were
Not
all
at
saying,
all.
"You can't do this," and he just kept moving forward. And then there, oh my God! But you can really see it. It's a fun film to watch.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Have you seen his commencement speech, his
Oh, I love
Stanford?
that. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's where he talks about, and Bob quoted him too, that you can never connect the dots looking forward.
Mm-hmm.
That's where faith comes in. And I would elevate it to knowing. There's faith based in knowledge, faith based in knowing that what you think and how you feel will ultimately set up a vibration of what will come into your life. And you just know, and you know that you know. And Bob lived his life that way because he saw it. He saw it happening. He had no idea. It took him a decade to figure out what happened to him. He didn't know. He didn't know this in the beginning. He just did exactly what Ray told him to do. He read Think and Grow Rich, which all these principles are in, and he listened. He got a hold of Earl Nightingale's materials, and he was an unconscious competent. But in that first year, he went from 4,000 a year to 175,000 a year, 43 times his income. Welcome back, Laura. So trust the process. Your conscious mind is probably the thing, and your subconscious programming that's gumming up the works. But trust your process. Oh, Laura's in the Salt Lake Airport.
And I'm back.
You're back. I love it.
I'm back. Don't want to miss it. Okay. I'm
Okay.
going to take my video off so I don't make anyone sick.
Yeah. Thank you, Laura. So this is the mental toughness. This is where we have to make a committed decision that we're going to take all the tools at our disposal and we're going to rewrite the script of who we are, self-image. We're going to rewrite the script of how we behave, studying every single day. And we're going to rewrite the script of what we do every single day. And it's going to include stepping out in faith. And we're also going to rewrite the script of very intentionally, what do we let into our conscious minds and therefore into our subconscious minds? And what are we not going to allow? And it's really a decision to live from the inside out. And if we can ever be part of Bob's legacy of living this work, and Laura talked about this and the ripple effect, whether you're teaching this to people like Kathy and I are, or being in alignment with who you are and living example of this, which is affecting Laura's children. It's affecting the people around us. I know it's affecting the people around me. But most of all, just having the joy of the peace of knowing exactly how things work. And if you want different results, you're going to have to rewrite the script. You're going to have to use your will to get involved in that, emotionally involved. And from this point on, I'm going to start to get a little tougher with all of us about, well, if, the outside forces are deciding, no, you're deciding what's going to happen. Thank you, sweetheart. You're going to decide how and when it's going to happen, not necessarily how and when, but you're going to decide that it's going to happen. And then you're going to use your intuition. You're going to use your awareness to pick up on opportunities, things that can help you. It's living in that co-creative process, falling in love with it, the way I did with being in love with running that health food store. It was just pure passion that was carrying the day. I had no idea. I had no idea how to run a business. I mean, it was comical at some points. My bank account was so overdrawn, it was just beyond. And, I was living on float for a while there, just, it was wild. But that's the thing I need you guys to think about is, and he talks about this here on page 3, and to be really honest with yourselves. That's what this lesson's about. Are you living this work to your highest and best? Are you every day taking the new script of you, your money, your spirituality, your where you live, how you live? This isn't about beating oneself up. It's just about pulling the veil back that the paradigm has placed over you to say, it's going to be too much work. I can't see how it's going to happen. I don't have the skills for that. Who do I think I am? It's about not pushing back. It's about writing a new paradigm that just says, I see you. That's old news. Here's the new news. Here's the new deal. Here's the new show, the new Kathy Rose show, the new Laura Warburton show, the new Joni Vincent show, the new Peggy Hoover show. Here's the new script. And here's how it's going to go down. I have no idea. I just know that crazy childlike passion will carry the day. And I don't have to know the how. The how will reveal itself, because guess what? It's already here. Kathy, in that show about Steve Jobs, wasn't he fired twice by his board of directors?
Oh, yeah.
Did that cause him to throw in the towel?
No, he was unfazed. It's so good from this point of view.
Yeah.
What the outside world was telling him.
Yeah. They were telling him he was completely off his rocker. And thank heavens he didn't stop. Thank heavens the Wright brothers didn't stop, because now Laura's getting on a 737, a 727, whatever, 777. I mean, think about where we are as a species. Laura has this amazing technology that's going to help heal millions of people's lives. Is she going to consciously or unconsciously let other people's thoughts, feelings, or opinions about her slow her down? That's up to her. Am I going to let my worry, fear, and doubt about the good opinion of other people, also known as goop, am I going to let that slow me down with my legacy and my desire for big things and my desire to teach this to people? Hell no, I will not. That's how mentally tough we have to be with ourselves. Now, does it have to be hard work? No, it needs to be discernment. It needs to be knowing, like you did, Kathy. Oh, hey, here's what's happening. Starting to worry about something. What would cause that? Oh, I see. Yeah. No, my economy is bulletproof. There were more millionaires made during the depression of the 20s and 30s. But those were people who didn't get affected by the outside. And I could care less what's happening in the economy. There's always going to be a need for what I do. My ability to do it just gets better and better every day. I can communicate it better. I can share it better. I can help people better. And the ease with which I can be replaced, if I only focused on that second part, getting really, really good at what you do, getting really, really good at communicating what you need to communicate to people to help them, having this driving passion to help people, that kind of irrational exuberance that I had when I was 20 years old. Why can't we feel that again? We've all had that. Kathy, you ran the Olympics, 69,000 people. Kathy casually mentioned that to me. I was like, wait, what? Joni had this huge job. I'm like, wait, what? Like,
and I'm sure Joni wasn't. I know you just said you were, and I was. I thought I was the luckiest person alive to be doing what I was doing. I couldn't believe it.
Right.
I just couldn't believe it. I just loved it. Passion.
So, right. So what if we write the script of our life the way we want it? The luckiest woman alive. That'd be a good book title.
Yeah.
The luckiest woman alive. And you simply write it out the way you want it because somebody else wrote the script of you a long, long time ago. And it doesn't matter how they did it, why they did it. It doesn't matter. None of that matters. What matters is that now we have agency. We have free will. We have the ability to blue sky it. That was the whole point of that Bob video, the creation video.
Mm-hmm.
That's how we're meant to live. We are spiritual beings. We have an intellect and we live in a physical body. On the level of spirit, whether that's God, the quantum field, the universe, however you relate to that and believe in that, nothing is impossible. There's the Mars rover. That was completely impossible until recently. The Hubble Space Telescope. Man on the moon. Advances in science.
Yeah.
They're saying people are going to start living to 150.
Ooh.
Think about that. People only used to live to be in their 40s. I mean, some of the illnesses we've all had would have killed us had it not been for antibiotics or medical intervention. So there's no limit, and we're part of this incredible species of creatures, of being that have beyond our physical instincts, right? We still live in a body, in an animalistic body, but we have all these magical higher faculties. And if we don't use them, or let me flip it to the positive, to the extent that we can really crank on those suckers and only live from the inside out, that will change your entire life. I saw Bob walk through life that way for 5 years. He was the most confident, sincerely confident, people, peaceful, tranquil, connected, joyful, powerful, passionate people on the planet. And I'm so grateful to have had that experience. But I'll never forget the day that he pounded in a matrix, the first one that Dan and I went to, this like 5-day deal. I was in the back of the room and he walked right back to my table and he stood in front of, it's going to make me cry again. He stood right in front of me and he said, if I can do this and so can do this and Earl can do this and Hill can do this. He literally pounded on the table and it felt like a shockwave went through the entire room and it brought me to tears. And he looked right at me and he said, then you can do this. Because we are all built the same way. We are all built this way. We are always turning thoughts into things through our alignment. So sorry about that. Got a little emotional, but I say that because you may be thinking, or I may be thinking, oh yeah, but I'm different. Oh yeah, but. That's just the BS paradigm, trying to keep your foot nailed to the floor. The sky is the limit, but we got to do first things first. We've got to do our part. So back to your point, Kathy, let's be honest with ourselves. What are in this? How aligned are your thoughts, feelings, and actions? Excuse me. In the direction of the good you desire. Is your goal just this someday nice to have out there dream? Or are you like, today is the day. that I'm going to
Mhm.
overcome this obstacle. Today is the day that I'm going to study how to be a better salesperson and get on 3 sales calls. Today is the day that I'm going to hire the architect and engage with them to build my dream house, even though interest rates are going up and I have no idea where the materials costs are at this point. Like, today is the day. Today is the day.
Yeah.
Not next week, not next Monday. Today is the day that I'm going to make sure my thoughts, my feelings, and my behavior are all in alignment. And I am stepping out and taking action. Today is the day that I'm going to work on my power life script. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to write out exactly where I want my finances to be. I'm going to write out exactly what kind of house I want to live in. I'm going to write out exactly what my soulmate looks like, what my business looks like. Now, do you have to have an exact fully baked cake picture? No, do the best you can. It's going to fill in. As you're fantasizing about this, you're going to have more and more color and texture and feeling and taste and smell. Like, you're going to be like, oh, that would be nice to have. I would love that. Wouldn't that be nice? Oh, I need this resource. Oh, that'll come to me. Right? Now, is your paradigm going to sit quietly in the corner like a well-behaved child? No. Heck no. Well, how are you going to do that? Well, where are you going to get the money? Well, you're not. Of course that's just old news. That's why it's so important that we rewrite the new script, because once that becomes the new paradigm, then it's not fighting in the mud with the old one. It gets so much easier because paradigms are neither good nor bad. They just simply are. This is a fact of our lives. Period. End of story. Whatever it's producing by way of results is neither good nor bad. It's wanted or undesired. And if it's undesired, no big deal. Then you know what you need to do. You need to imagine a new way. You need to use your will to get emotionally involved in it. What does that require? Well, I would highly recommend you write out a power life script. I'm happy to help you guys do that. Write out and record a power life script and listen to it all during the day. That's as important as listening to Neville Goddard, because guess what he tells you to do? Rewrite the script and listen to it all day, every day. We have to take this beyond theoretical study and have it be an application. Now we have to rewrite the script and get excited about it and get enthused about it. Kathy, the luckiest woman in the world, you write this script of you. I get to travel here. I get to go with this person. I get to write these books. I get to do this. I get to teach people. I get to have this level of income. Do we know how? Not yet. Doesn't matter. How will come. How is here. That's not your job. Not my job. Now, what is your job is to move out an inspired action as if it's already happened. We got to move our feet. Bob used to say God will feed every bird, but he won't put the food in the nest. You got to be a cooperative component. So we're going to talk more about that. But this lesson is about doing what we know to do. It's about mentally choose a different paradigm and start to feel it. How could you spend a half an hour a day, an hour a day in the pure fantasy of your new script of you, your new reality? That's all that my friend Phil does. By the way, Laura, I'll reach out to Phil after the Academy Awards. That's all Phil does. And he asks himself one simple question. Am I focused on what I want? And he knows what he wants. He has his goals clear, his intentions clear. Am I focused on what I want? Because if you're focused on what you want, then you're on the level, on the frequency where all the answers are. The way to do it is there. That's all been figured out. You've asked, it's given. We tend to stay in the pounding on the asking because we don't have the faith that it's been given. And that prevents us from getting up on the frequency that it is here. It's always, all the answers are here. everything we want's here in one way, shape, or form or another. So I'll be quiet now, but does this make sense? Is this
Mhm.
helpful?
Very much so. Can I share something?
Of course.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Um, this is an example of unconscious competence. But whether it's unconscious or not, it shows how the system works, how it really does work. And the unconscious competent in me had to find a way to help kids with concussions. I had no idea. I had no idea what to do or how to do it. I just knew I had to find a way. And here I am, a nobody. As far as, I don't have degrees, I don't have anything that would put me in that system. And yet I had to find a way. And so here I find pods that are just 4 years old and they work and it's happening. And if that is not unconscious competence, I don't know what is. But it shows that that was my heart, my soul, my desire, everything. And then so I have to ask myself, why do I need to not feel that, not have more confidence in everything? Hello, buddy. I know he's not allowed to talk to me, is he? Okay. Got canines running around the place. Okay. Anyway, I just wanted to share that with you guys because it just
No.
hit me so hard just a second ago
Yeah.
when you were talking, Peggy. It's like I have
And
proof. The proof this works.
yeah. Listen, if you want to boost your self-confidence, go back and read the confidence on page 93 in your TIR lessons. I'm going through this with my TIR class, which, by the way, you're welcome. I can give you the times and the days that I teach that. You're welcome to join in on those.
Yeah,
at
why
any
don't you
point.
can you post them? I'd love to hear these.
Absolutely. It's the same Zoom link and I'll put the dates in. But we're
Okay.
going over confidence. And I highly, Laura, you were asking in your heart of hearts for something and God answered and steered you. I know you believe that. But here's what's cool. Now that we know how it works, imagine what you can do now. Now your faith isn't, not that ever was. Now your faith isn't blind faith. Now your faith is faith based in knowledge, right? That and you know. And this lesson in confidence, all I'm saying is we don't have a death grip on our work here, but we have to have some real intentionality that this is the deal. If nothing else gets done in a day, you got to study, and you have to study with a purpose of achieving your goals. And you have to know what those goals are. And I highly recommend they be light your hair on fire goals, because it's that kind of passion that I had when I was 20. And it was that kind of, Laura's laughing. It's that kind of passion that you had and Kathy had and Joni Vincent had and Lisa has. We're paying attention to that. Many, 90% of the population has put the lid on that and said, it's too hard. I can't do it. They're programming, whatever. I'm not judging anybody. I'm just saying, aren't we fortunate that drive and desire and passion in us brought us here? This work will transform your life so quickly, but now it's incumbent on us. And that's what I think this lesson 6 is about, to not play about, to do the exercises, to listen to it every day, to be intentional about what you want, to ask yourself multiple times a day, am I in alignment with what I want? Am I thinking only of what I want? Newsflash, if you're not feeling great, you're not. You're thinking it's going to be hard. You're thinking there's obstacles. You're thinking about the economy. You're thinking about your bank account. No big deal. Just stop it. And ask yourself the question, what do I really want? And that'll bring you back onto the frequency of feeling good, because you'll be in alignment with it. It's here, it's done. Then ask the questions. What do I need to do next? What would be a good next step? If I were going to do that, that's why setting aside time every day to now
got-
start thinking about your goals. This is a graduate program for a reason. I want you to carve out, if it's not in your calendar, it's not happening. Carve out the time on a regular basis. This has got to be like brushing your teeth.
It does. Totally.
Thinking. Now you know your higher faculties. Now you know that you have to write a new script. Now that you know that you have to internalize that script. Spend 10 minutes every night before you go to bed visualizing your wish fulfilled. Feeling is the secret. When you wake up, the same thing. Don't reach for your phone. Don't reach for this. Don't reach for that. Right? So this is the work to do. Have the rubber hit the road. Because the law of cause and effect is real. Bob talks about it in this lesson. And we have to decide what we're going to give up in terms of time, behavior, and practices. You know, on page 16, he says, choose 3 different situations in your life where your paradigm wins over what you know is the truth. And as a result, you compromise your best behavior. Think about that. What would be best behavior of someone who was in possession of the good you desired? You know what it would be. We already know what to do. And start doing it. You know? I didn't check my calendar last night. I missed an appointment with somebody this morning at 7 a.m. My bad. I feel terrible about it, but you know what? I'm not going to wallow in it. I'm just going to use that as a, hey, new practice. Check your calendar every day. Set your path in motion. Sound good?
Great, Peggy.
Okay. Any questions, thoughts, parting salvos?
It really is like brushing your teeth, because if you don't study, well, for me, if I don't study
For everybody.
the outside world,
Yeah.
for a couple of days, the outside world starts to creep in.
Exactly. You know, Phil had a story of a friend who was like 100% in on this work. And then for one reason or another, not even really a seemingly big deal, he just stopped studying. You know, he crashed and burned because the paradigms
Are so
you know,
strong.
we talked about this in the last lesson. You're either growing, there is no neutral. You're either growing or you're moving backwards.
Oh, there
And
is
the status quo is to pull you back into safety. It's to pull you back into your comfort zone. It's to, you know, every time you advance a new dream and a new goal, guess what will be waiting there at the outer bound of that dream and that goal?
your paradigm.
All your limiting beliefs.
Yeah.
It has to be that way, because if it weren't, you just cruise along. So expect it. Don't feel badly about it. Just know it's going to be another terror barrier to move through. But the more we condition the inside of us to live from the inside out, to be in love, to fall passionately in love with this vision of our lives, to be it, to feel it, to be enjoying the vibrational equivalent of it, which we can do through our imagination, through feeling it now. Because the truth is, it's here. I was reading to our mastermind yesterday, you know, what Neville Goddard said, which is, don't, in Power of Awareness, he said, when you fuse with your dream, then it's not this duality of, oh, it's out there in the future. It's like, no, when you come from your wish fulfilled, you're already, Laura, a multi-millionaire running this big business. You're already an Emmy-winning screenwriter. You're already having your beautiful boat down on Lake Powell. You're already that. the more we can experience that imagined reality is what's his name? Neville Goddard called it. Two things happen. First of all, you get to be happy right now because you're enjoying it, right? You get to enjoy it today, the feeling of the wish fulfilled. And the second thing is it completely magnetizes it to you. That's the law of attraction.
Yeah.
You can only attract what you're in vibrational alignment with. So what's the drill? Build the image. What would I love? When anything's possible, what would I love? What would I love? What would I love? Paradigm. Oh, you can't have that. That's going to be too hard. You've never done that. You tried and failed, but whatever. Okay, you sit in the corner. The adults are talking. Get emotionally involved in it. But what if? At night before you go to bed, see yourself in the house. See yourself with your friend. See yourself with the money in the account. See it, feel it, see it, feel it. Same thing when you wake up. And you know what? Everything that you're connected to will come to you. Ideas will come, intuitions will come, thoughts will come, ways of serving better will come, ways of leaving a bigger legacy will come. And then guess what? Don't just let it sit there. Move on it. Do it. Okay?
Thanks, Peggy.
You are welcome.
Be sure and post the TIR schedule too.
I will. Absolutely.
Okay.
Would love to have you guys join
I'll
us.
talk to you a little later.
Yep.
Take
Talk to
care.
you soon.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
everybody. See you.
Bye-bye.
Safe travels, Laura.
Bye.
Safe travels. Have a wonderful time.
Thank you.